What's happening, people? I'm coming at you on this Wednesday, 21st of September. Yeah, still sporting my Dereck Higgins shirt. Just getting the day rolling. It's about to turn 8 o'clock right now. And good morning, family. Good morning, sister. Good morning, nephew. It's morning over here, so you understand that's what I'm saying to you whenever you see it. And good morning, hello to everyone else that watches it. It is morning. Can you see the sun on the side of my head here coming through the blinds? Man, I like the mornings. It's supposed to get a little cloudy and rainy today, so I'm glad that the sun is peeking out right now. And after I make this quick little video, I'll go stand out in my front lawn and sip on coffee and enjoy the sunshine. I can show you some music, some records. Yeah, that's my obsession. That is my obsession. Probably the bigger obsession I have is really wanting to understand what is real and as close to what is truth as possible in this world, because everything is perception and perspective, and so truth is nebulous and not set in stone anywhere. But I just like to have things make sense to me as much as possible. That is probably my other biggest obsession besides music. So I went down to Grapefruit because it was time to go in their latest Instagram. They showed a record that I've been after, and it's been reissued, and so I'll buy the reissue. Japanese, I guess you'd call them art rock band, After Dinner. Paradise of Replica. Now, I have a CD that they put out through Recommended Records ages ago. I could go grab it, but I'm not gonna. Had it for since it came out, probably in the 80s. And it's an interesting, it's not progressive rock, it's not even rock music. It's like audio paintings where this woman and these musicians are able to create this world that is quite fascinating and interesting. And the words that she sings are as much notes of the music, which is they just create images and ideas as opposed to telling a story, which I really quite like. And this is really quite good. Paradise of Replica. I missed out when this first came out, and so I was really happy that they got it in again, because I love the band Faust as much what they're about as I do like to listen to them. I do still enjoy in the present moment what Faust does with sound. And so I finally got this, Punkt, which was the infamous fourth album that members ended up getting jailed for because Virgin Records decided they didn't want it and weren't going to pay for it. And I guess they had to get their family members to bail them out. The story is on here. And this is, I'll call it classic Faust. It still has that kind of funny foghorn sound. And Zappy Darmeyer's drumming is to full effect here. They put out records since the early days where Darmeyer's drumming to me is too naked, and it doesn't help create a picture to explore, which is what I like, as opposed to just hearing the drums going on and on. So he helps to paint the picture here. This is really good. Faust Punked. I picked this up. I used to have an original, and I don't know why I sold it. I really don't. And let me see if it's still sitting out. I guess I put it away. Did I put it away? I picked this up when I saw that it was in the store. Yeah, after I hadn't played this in a long time. I showed this to you the other day. Third Ear Band's Alchemy album. This is an original U.S. pressing of the album from 1969. I used to have an original of this. I don't know why I sold it. So when I saw they had a copy in the bins yesterday, I grabbed it. Third Ear Band's Music from Macbeth. The Roman Polanski film. This reminds me of the time when there was all the controversy about Polanski and who he was knocking boots with, you know, underage girls and shit. It's a good film. And even though I haven't played this copy yet, I like that it's on a mock harpist label. Munster Records. Simon House plays on this. You know, he was also in the band High Tide, and I saw him in Hawkwind. I saw him play with Hawkwind. So this is on the playlist for this morning, actually. I got two more. One in the used section, which I didn't remember this album cover. Cozy Powell Tilt. This came out in 1981. When I looked at it, and I just thought to myself, you know, I try to know about this sort of thing, and I don't remember ever seeing this cover. He was a badass drummer, as you know. He played with everyone. I mean, you know, Jeff Beck is what I became first familiar with on his playing. I love his playing. Then, you know, he did the Emerson, Lake and Powell thing. Plus, he's played with everyone. Great drummer, already gone. This is really good. It's way better than I had no expectations, except I kind of figured, I was trying to figure what it might sound like. And I went ahead and bought it when I saw that there's a Jan Hammer composition on here with Hammer and Beck on it. So I said, okay, so there's probably some fusion sounding on this. This album is really good. And Cozy Powell attempts to do his own version of Billy Cobham's Spectrum album opener. Did I put it away already? Yeah. Strata, I think, is the name of the opening track of Billy Cobham's Spectrum album. On here, Cozy Powell does a track called The Blister. And it is written by Don Airey, great keyboardist, and great guitarist Gary Moore. They have the chops to pull it up, so they wrote their own version of I'm saying it again. It's really good. I mean, you can just hear each part is took from the blueprint of the Billy Cobham album. What saves it is the fact that they can all play their asses off, and Cozy Powell does the double bass drum thing to great effects, like Billy Cobham. He could play, and he was a heavy player. He had technique, but he had power. Never got to see him play live, but I was really happy to grab that. And the last thing that I found a reissue of, because I've been wanting a copy forever. Whenever I would see originals of this, it would just be too expensive. Really glad that I got this. I only got through one side, but I absolutely love Terry Riley. Persian Surgery Dervishes, 2 concerts preserved on here. His modal, repetitive music that is often compared to like ragas and the East. Interestingly, in reading the notes in here, Terry Riley says his inspiration, even though he called this Persian based on a fantasy in his mind, he said his inspiration for this music is totally American and rural. It comes from where he lives, the nature he lives around. And this stuff is beautiful. It is. And it just, it will just draw you in. It's very trance-inducing. And also very, very psychedelic as you just go allow what he's doing to just take over. It opens the mind. This is some fantastic music. That's the new stuff I have to show. I have a couple things sitting down from yesterday, playing. I did some audio work. And then I relaxed. A couple of years ago, I finally picked up a reissue of this Attila Intention. I don't want to misspeak where the band is from because I get it wrong sometimes, okay? Are these guys from Spain? Anyway, this is that prog stuff that is based on the classics, on classical music. Okay? I'm just going to try to look here and see. Are they Spanish? That's what it's looking like. Okay. Anyway, for my taste, one side of this is pretty good, and the side that starts off with it's a Bach, I think, Toccata and Fugue. You hear it a million times. That side, and it's the side that devolves. It's like it devolves into a drum solo, and not a good drum solo. The drummer is good, but what he does doesn't merit a drum solo. So this is a one-sided affair for me. But I'm glad I had it. It's the sort of thing that when I couldn't afford these records when they came out that I would dream about owning. You know, they were like exotic diamonds to me. So that's part of the fun of collecting and listening to this music still. But that's the genesis of it. This was the listen of the day, though, yesterday, besides working on my stuff, which I'm very happy about the next album. Dorothy Ashby with Frank Wess, Hip Harp. Going way back to the early 60s with this. This is just really fresh. To hear swinging tunes led by the beautiful sonorities of a harp. And she can play it and has a voice on it. You know, she has licks like a guitar player. You know, Dorothy Ashby getting down on the harp with these licks, hitting us with this shit. This is hip harp. I've got a couple of her other albums. I have one that's very collectible. I'd have to go out in the other room. I've got a mono of one of her first albums. Dorothy Ashby. You don't know this woman? There's some history here. Okay. Now this is sitting out because it's out to be played. I didn't get to it. But I hear the music of Emmanuel 2 in my head often. There's like music that's part... Is it like this for any of you where even though the mind is always a continuing running document of what's happening as well as what you're thinking, is there almost always music going? Because for me there is almost always music in my mind. Stuff that I've been listening to, but often it's stuff from the past that just, you know, the other day, because I watched the video, I was obsessed for the next day, not intentionally, with the song In a Big Country. Because the sound of that guitar on that song is just killer. So this has been in my mind. Emmanuel's Yeti. I have 2 copies of this. This is a German reissue. I do have an original English with a textured cover. I know some of you folks kind of like that little shit. This is killer. This is, to me, in many ways, the definition of psychedelic. It's colorful, rambling, ragged, at times beautiful, and at times cacophonous. I think this is a classic album myself, as well as a classic cover. Apparently that was one of the band members' crew, one of the road crew who put on the dress, and iconic photo, just killer. So there's some music for you today, people. I hope the day goes well for you. There is so much trauma and turmoil in the world. It's almost pointless to speak about any one particular tragedy. There are so many. It's just so unfortunate that we have such a strong negative force loose on the planet. There's a strong negative force at play on the planet. And there's constantly crazy, bad shit happening. So I just always look for signs of hope. That's what I'll say about it all. Y'all take care. And of course, let me know what you're thinking.